countries are reeling from the impact of the coronavirus pandemic after weeks of lockdown that forced economies to shut down. Now, many countries have slipped into a recession while others are just on the brink of it. Millions of people have lost their jobs as companies continue to lay off staff, pushing unemployment rates to unprecedented heights. Now, in Nigeria, about 34.9 million Nigerians will lose their jobs due to the pandemic, and that's according to the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo. Joining me now is civil water sanitation engineer Joy Makumbe. He joins me now via Skype from Tanzania. All right, it's nice to have you join me, Joy. When it comes to the impact of COVID-19 across the African continent or even the world, I guess they're all the same, but with little peculiarities from country to country. Are we seeing, especially for sub-Saharan African countries, are we seeing likely recession of many countries in Africa?
Morning, Mike. COVID-19 has left no one unscathed. You know, like you said, this is actually a global pandemic, and Africa is also affected by all this. You know, COVID-19 just came in swiftly, and everyone was reeling before we understood what was happening. We're in a new world. Actually, that's what I want to say. We are actually in a new world after COVID-19. So, as you've said earlier on, the most impact here is the job losses. Job losses actually in Africa. We're looking at maybe 50 or so million jobs that are bound to be lost because of this COVID-19. And in Eastern Africa, you find that, like in the aircraft industry, about 75% of people have faced pay cuts because of COVID-19. And what does it mean? It means these people these are the breadwinners. And it means there's nothing coming into their homes. And how do they look after their families? And it's estimated that, like in East Africa, 75% of the people actually have only 4 months of savings to look after the family. 25% have a month of savings to look after the family. And maybe you'll say, okay, there are some people who are running a side hustle, a small business on the side, but you find that these small businesses are going to close as people dig into their capital for these businesses to actually look after the family. And when they can't find money, they're going to go to the banks, take a loan. But which means people are going to sink deeper and deeper into debt. So COVID-19 really has had a huge impact on the individuals.
All right, now the realities are here. Talk to us the experience of Tanzania. How are the people coping with this circumstance, and what is the government doing to ensure that it stabilizes small-scale industries and businesses in the country?
With Tanzania, it was a peculiar case because from the onset, the president here refused a lockdown. So this means that everything was business as usual. Companies were open, construction industry was open, agriculture was open. So it was business as usual. Only the problem was, with regards to, because, like horticulture is an economic milestone for Tanzania. So to export, this stuff, they used to take it through Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and Kenya is under a lockdown. So that was, I think, the only problem that Tanzania was facing. So, of course, here and there, maybe the arts and crafts industry in Tanzania has been affected because of the limitation of tourists coming into the country. So it means that those people there now, they don't have any income that is coming in. People that used to have concerts for tourists, that also is, there's nothing coming in. So what the government has done, it has actually come up with a fund that it is looking at injecting into small businesses and also, into banks, so that they can at least cushion their people. But with regards to food, there is food because people continued going to work and doing the agriculture.
All right, so as it is right now, it means the country is not on lockdown, or is it on partial lockdown?
It is not on lockdown. Even the borders were open. It is just that no aircrafts were coming in because the other countries were on lockdown. But the airports have been open ever since, and everything is open.
All right. Now let's delve into you. If I have to come to you precisely, how are you coping with all of this? Because I know that the situation in Tanzania is basically the same with the one in Kenya or in Rwanda or in Nigeria or in Ghana, as the case may be, with just little tilted peculiarities. How are you coping with this circumstance and the new world order, like you put it?
Okay, for me, in Tanzania, I am supervising a water and sanitation project. So what it has meant is that, as the new employer in the new world, you have to look after the safety of your people. And what this means is that we actually engaged the contractor that they have to test their people before they go on site. They have a thermometer, just to test the temperature. And if you're sick, you're not allowed to go on site. And on site, also the workers have put on face masks and tried as much as possible, to work with a bit of social distance, because it's not easy. You want to tie bolts onto a valve. You can't do it alone. You need someone who is there. So it's impossible to maintain the meter in that instance. So we've tried to keep away the sick, those are sneezing and coughing. We've tried to keep them at home. So it's a bit of a challenge in the construction industry, really, to keep on working in such environments. But adjustments are there, because in this era, really, you actually have to innovate and change. Otherwise, you go extinct like the dinosaur, And for the neighboring countries, what I foresee is that because there was closure of the construction sites, many experts and the local people had to be sent home. And, so reopening of those sites is actually going to be very difficult. And once a site is closed, you find that the lenders, the funders of that project, they are skeptical with regards to funding that project again, because they don't know whether it will actually complete. And government-funded projects, there's a problem there, because the government is not collecting revenue, and they have no financing, that is there right now, for those projects. So government projects could actually stall as government concentrates more on actually making sure the people and the businesses survive.
All right, Joy, talk to us about the issue of physical distancing or social distancing, as they put it. How are Tanzanians complying with some of the hygiene protocols that are put in place when it comes to constant washing of hands and the use of face masks and then the physical distancing? Talk to us about that.
The shops, there are so many shops, kiosks. You find that everyone actually has a bucket at their entrance and some hand wash that you use before you enter their shop. In the malls, you cannot go in without a face mask. You have to wash your hands as well. They also have a thermometer to test your temperature before you can enter. In the banks as well, you need a face mask to enter the bank. They test also your temperature, and you have to wash your hands. So I think the washing of hands and the social distancing is something which is being practiced. But as you know, people being people, there are some others who it is really difficult. That's why you find some other countries, they've had to have law enforcing people coming in to actually have people stay at home or actually observe, social distancing. But it is something that is really going on, and I think people are doing their best, given the circumstances.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joy Makumbe, for your time on the program. We really appreciate you on TVC Breakfast, joining us from Tanzania. Thank you.